Hello everyone, this is another video from Easy Electric series, and today we want to learn what is means preset frequency in VFD. So for explain the preset frequency, let's take a look to the data sheet that we have and take a look to the parameter A70 to A33. So if I explain that in a simple language, so you actually have two terminals on the VFD, which is terminal 5 and 6. You could connect terminal 5 and 6 to the switch that you are able to provide 0 and 24 volt for these two terminals that we have. So whenever you deliver 24 volt, you could consider that as a 1 digital. Whenever you give 0 volt, it considered to 0 volt. So since you have two terminal 5 and 6, there is actually four different cases. You could give both 0, 1, 0, 0, 1, and 1, 1. So whenever you give a 0, 0, so technically you are telling to the VFD that the frequency of motor running is 0 volt. You see here it's 0 volt as a default. Whenever you give terminal 5 1 and terminal 6 0, so it's actually run to the frequency 5 hertz, which is a max frequency. It adjusts or increase from 0 to 5. Whenever you give 0 1, the frequency of the VFD goes to the 10 hertz, and whenever you give 1 1, it's actually increased to 20. So these are default. If you don't adjust these four parameters, 70 to 73, so they follow these table that you see. 0, 0 should be 0 volt frequency of the VFD, 1, 0, 5, 0, 1, 10, and finally 1, 1, 20 hertz. But you could also change this frequency, adjust to any frequency that you want. So that means, let's just say I want whenever both is 0, it's actually the frequency goes to, I don't know, 50 hertz, 40 hertz. You come to the parameter A70 and change that from the 0 to 70 that you want. Same for others. If you want to actually whenever the both is a 1, which is actually preset frequency 3. You need to use the parameter 73 and change this default 20 to any frequency that you want. So that means with parameter 70 to 73, and you could adjust to any four frequency that you want and reach that with giving the different DC value 0, 1 in terminal 5 and 6. So you will do that in the training set and you will see that. So before you run this, there is a few things that you need to check. So let I say what we need to check here. Even you see it says the P38 should be 4. We're actually coming here and review what we should check before run these tests. Number one, P36. So we in the previous videos, we adjust that to 1 to use the variable remote variable resistor. So we need to change that to the 0 that able to use the keypad. So the next one that we have here, you should change to the P38 speed reference. So before we put on 2, which we are able to use the variable resistor. So for these experiment or for a preset frequency, you should change P38 to actually number 4. So default is 0. Just make sure you actually check P38. It should be actually on 4. Okay. And also, if you remember for the previous video, for seeing the error, I decreased P33, which is the overload current, to from 3, which was my overload current motor was 3. I decreased to 1 to see the errors. If you already not put it back to the origin value, make sure use the P33 and put the right motor overload current there. So for our case, for our motor that I have, that was 3. In that previous video, I changed that to the 1 to see the errors. So that's the other thing. Make sure you actually check it. So the other thing is digital input set. So A51 and 52. So you should actually go to the parameter A51. Somehow you are setting the terminal 5 and you should choose number 4, which is you are telling you use that digital input as a preset frequency. So the thing is the default for A51, 52 is 4. Even you don't change it, it should be fine. But double check that, make sure A51 and A52, which is setting preset frequency for terminal 5 and 6 that you want to use, make sure that is 4. Also the default also is 4. So after you check everything, so easily you could back here and giving to these variable, you should actually see these default data or frequency that you have. If you want, you could change it and again follow these table. It should be give whatever you adjusted here through A70 to 73. So one more thing here, you see whenever you give a different value, you actually put to the preset frequency 0 to 3. But here it shows you even you could actually adjust the acceleration and deceleration for these cases that you have. So for preset 1 and preset frequency 0 and 1, follow the acceleration time 1 and deceleration time 1, and the preset 2 and 3, you could actually change acceleration time with parameter acceleration time 2 and deceleration time 2 where they are. So acceleration time 2 and deceleration is in parameter 67, 68. So 67 is for acceleration time 2 and the A68 is the deceleration time 2. Default is 20. If you want to change that, it's somehow moving faster, reach in the shorter time to the peak or max frequency, or go down faster to the 0 frequency, you could actually, or lower frequency, you could actually change these parameters. So, and acceleration time 1 and 2, we already used them. It should be on parameter, let's see, P39 and P40. So with changing 39, P39, 40, you could adjust acceleration time 1 and acceleration time, deceleration time 2, which is default is 2. And then you could actually see this is technically is this table for a 0010 acceleration time, deceleration time 1 used for these two case, 0111 it use actually acceleration time 2 and deceleration time 2. So let's go to the training set and see if we could actually run this or not.
Okay, so before we checking the preset frequency, we need to actually check few things. So number one, I get rid of the variable resistor wiring because we are going to put that on the keypad adjusting. So I'm going to add two more switch. So which is one side of it, one side of these two switch is 24 volts. So the other side goes to the port 5 and 6. So, and also I return these jumper wire that we already had between 1 and 11. So that's about the wiring. So again, I had two more for digital inputs, 5 and 6, one side of the switch, 24 volt, which coming from port 11, terminal 11. The other side goes to port 5 and 6. And also I bring back these jumper wire that we have between 1, 2, and 11. So check few things. Maybe the first one, if you remember in the previous video, for seeing the error and test the error for the relay, we change or decrease the motor overload current that able to see that error. Let's to first check that, make sure we put it back. If you are not, you just check that. So that was, I think, P33. So for my case, that was 3. Remember in last video, I decreased that for a 1 to actually see the errors and test the relay that we have. So it's fine. I already put it back. So the next is a P37, sorry, the P36. So let's check P36. So P36, if you remember, was for 3-wire, 2-wire, and 0 was a keypad. So we put back on the 0. We want to actually control everything from keypad, and I enter. So that we did P36 is all set. So the next is P38 is important one. So before, whenever we had the variable resistor, we put P38 on 2, which is 0 to 10 input. We are able to have these remote variable resistor. Here we should actually set that to preset frequency. So let's to check it. So I go to the P38. So if you check the data sheet, it should be on 4 for a preset frequency with digital inputs. That number 4 that I already put on P38. So these are actually the things that we need to check before go to the main parameters for preset frequency with terminal 5 and 6. So for preset terminals, so for sure we should actually set A051 and A052 on 4, which is 4 is preset frequency. Let to check that they're already on the preset, but let I just double check, make sure we actually have it. So I go to 56. So is it sorry, it should be actually the A, not P. So I have A, let's say 55. First 55, A55 or digital input. Digital input for terminal 5 should be preset frequency, which number 4. I put it. So let's see, yeah, it's 9. We shouldn't be 9. Yeah, probably I put, no, that's actually wrong. It's A51, sorry. It should be A51. If you check the data sheet, A51 is digital input. Set for preset frequency should be 4, which is a default. That's correct. So now let's do 52 for digital terminal 6. So it is actually is 4, which is preset frequency. They are already all set. So let's see what else we need to make the adjustment. So let's just take a look to the table. So then the next is actually A70, 71, 72, 73. So we are not adjusting them. I think they are already is on the default. Let's just check them again. So let's say A start from 70. So A70 0 volt is a default. So that means if the both these input is 0, it should be actually adjust. That means terminal 5, 6 is both give the 0 volt. It should be frequency 0, which we adjust with A70. So A71 is 5 hertz. So it's whenever you actually have a 1 and 0. So that means terminal 5 is 1, terminal 6 is 0. It should be give 5 hertz. For sure, you could adjust that later on. These are the default. We run with the default. Then we actually change that later on. 72 is 10 volt default. So 72 is whenever terminal 6 is 1 and 5 is 0. And finally 73, if I'm not wrong, yeah, 73 is the default is 20. It's happened whenever both your terminal 5, 6 with these two switch, it will be both 1. So that means 5 and 6 connected use terminal. Whenever it is both 0, should be give 5, 1, 0, should be give 5, 0, 1, should be give 10. The both 1 should be give us 20, right? So let's test it. Let's back everything for 0. So now, as you see, the bose is 0, the frequency is 0. So now I'm going to change one of them to 1, which should be D5. So I'm changing that to 1, frequency increase. So as you see, it's actually is 5. So now it is D5 is 0. This is actually 6 is, D5 is 1. D6 is 0. Now 5 is 0, 6 is 1. So let's see what's happened. So it goes to the 10, which is correct. Now 5 and 6, the both should be 24 volt or 1. It should be increased to 20, which does happen. So as you could see with these two digital input, 5 and 6, you could actually set any frequency that you want. So we could change one of them, just that case. As you see, 0, 5, 10, 20 is default. We could actually change for any frequency that we want. Let me just try one that you see how it works. Let I stop it. So then I'm going to let me start with 70, which give us 0 base of the default. So let's say A go all the way down to 70, default is 0. I'm going to increase that probably for, let's say maybe 30 or something like that. I don't know, let's say 25 should be fine. I put 0. So I run the motor. So see right now is 0, no, is 1 and 1. I'm actually changing that to 0, 0. So whenever I start it, technically what should be happen, now it both is 0. Instead of the default 0 with A70, I give 20, 25, 26. So now whenever I'm running, the both is 0, should be goes to that frequency that we adjusted. We started, so see it's actually move up to the frequency that we adjust for 0, 0, which was 20 something, I don't know. Yeah, it actually catch that frequency. So that means that 0, 5, 10, 20 could be anything that you need based of your needs. So default is 0, 5, 10, 20, but you could have anything using the A70, 71, 72, and 73. So as you see right now is 0, 0 is 20. So whenever this is 1 should be the same, right? I think the 1 is 5. So then whenever this is 1, this is 1, should be technically 10. And whenever both is 1, it should be 20, right? So see, I changed that 0 to 26, and you see how it works. So the next thing is, if even you take a look to the data sheet, you could also change the acceleration, deceleration time. So based off the table 0, 0, follow the acceleration time 1 and deceleration time 1, 0, follow again acceleration, deceleration 1. So 0, 1, follow the acceleration time 2, deceleration time 2, and 1, 1, acceleration time 2, deceleration time 2. So as we mentioned, and as you see on the data sheet, for acceleration time 2 and deceleration time 2, use A67, 68. And also for acceleration and deceleration 1, we could actually use the parameter P39, and P40 is for acceleration time 1 and deceleration time. So we don't want to check all of them, so all is same. Let's just check one of them. Let's change acceleration time 2, which is happen whenever the switch is on 0, 1, 1 and 1. So which is acceleration time 2 comes from A67. So come here, let to stop it, and let to do A, and what is the command, what's the parameter is acceleration time 2 is 67. So Is it the P or A? It's A. 67. Yeah, it should be A. And it should be 67. So see, right now it's 220. That was a little slow. So let's just change that to something very fast, and you see the difference. So let I change this to the 5. Yeah, using the, yeah, so using the, yeah, something around 5. So, okay, enter. So back to the frequency. So as I use 67 acceleration time too. So let's see really it's reflect that or not. So we actually on the frequency. So let's put everything back to actually to push the both on the 0. We stop it and we run it. So whenever you run it, it is on 0, 0. So see 0, 0, 1, 0. It still actually follow acceleration time 1. So let's check 0, 1. That means 6 will be 1 and 5 will be 0, or both should be 1. We see actually acceleration 5 that we adjusted. So that means need to do this. I'm pushing the both on 1. It should technically should be, okay, see this is 1 and let to both 1. Now we should see the difference that we adjusted. Yeah, see how fast is jump from 10 to 20? It's actually in very short time. So let's just say, yeah, it's still, this is 0, 0, right? Which is has a more time. That's acceleration time. So let's do one thing. Let's foreseeing that, let's go to 1, 1, which is goes, it's a 20, right? So actually 20, we should somehow see the acceleration time. It is better to do 6, 1, and 5, 0. So let's say 5 here is 0. This is 1, which is goes down to the 10, right? Now I want to move to the 1, 1. Technically acceleration time should be acceleration time 2 that I give 5. So that means if I put this to the 1, it should be goes to 20 very fast, okay? So let's do that. I'm actually putting back to be both 1, and see it's follow the acceleration time 2, which is a 5. Let's see how fast it go. I'm actually put that now. See how fast it is. So that means it's, you could adjust each of the acceleration. The acceleration time for all that 4 frequency, actually using the acceleration time 1 and 2 that we have in our parameters. So I hope you like this video.